Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos reveals why Keith got first rose. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos is opening up and revealing why she chose to give Keith Gordon her first impression rose. There's no doubt she had a ton of good men to choose from. So what made her choose him over everyone else? Keep reading to find out what Joan had to say. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos shares why she gave Keith first rose. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos is one lucky lady. She has so many adorable men to choose from. Of course, Bachelor fans know that sadly the first impression rose can only go to one lucky man. Fans saw Joan give her first impression rose to Keith Gordon. They even shared a kiss. So, why did she choose him above everybody else? She spoke with Bachelor Nation and gave them the scoop. Overall, Joan shared that she chose Keith because of how he made her feel. She went on to say that Keith's entrance was great. He showed up in an old station wagon with luggage attached to the top of the car. However, it wasn't the entrance that intrigued her, although it did remind her of her own childhood. Joan said that she remembers sitting with Keith on the hood of the car and talking. At that moment, she felt very comfortable, and it was an easy conversation. She said, "I remember as our time was coming to an end, it was time for the next car to come in. He was like, 'Let's just get out of here. Let's grab a wine and some cheese and go sit on a blanket on the beach.' And I was just like, 'Ah, that's exactly what I'd like to do. That would feel so good right now.'" Joan continued to explain by saying, "And then I got to talk to him inside and just kept getting a feeling of comfort and being safe, and he's just like this big teddy bear kind of guy. So it was way more about how I felt when I was with him than his cool entrance. I gave him the rose because he made me feel safe and comfortable." Everyone seemed to like Keith. Joan Vassos liked Keith Gordon, and it seems a lot of viewers do too. Keith is from San Jose, California, and is 62 years old. He is a girl dad and is ready to find someone to share his life with. When Joan Vassos stepped into the glittering world of the Golden Bachelorette, rose in hand and hope in heart, she wasn't just looking for a love story. She was ready to write a whole new chapter of her life. Surrounded by charming, distinguished suitors from all walks of life, Joan knew she had her work cut out for her. But when the first rose ceremony loomed, there was no hesitation in her mind about one thing. The very first rose of the season belonged to Keith. Now, Joan is finally pulling back the velvet curtain and sharing exactly why Keith captured her attention and her heart so quickly. It was instant. Joan confessed in a candid sit-down with producers, her smile lighting up the room. Keith wasn't just handsome, which he absolutely is, but there was something in the way he saw me. Unlike some of the other men, who showed up armed with flashy gimmicks, corny jokes, or extravagant gifts, Keith approached Joan with a quiet confidence. He didn't need props or punchlines. All he needed was a genuine conversation and a single, unforgettable moment. According to Joan, their first meeting was magic wrapped in simplicity. Keith stepped out of the limo, gave her a smile that could melt the coldest heart, and handed her a single delicate daisy. "I picked this from my backyard this morning," he said. "It's not fancy. It's just real. Like I hope we can be." For Joan, a woman who had spent a lifetime weathering the ups and downs of love and loss, those few, sincere words hit deeper than any grand gesture ever could. In that instant, she said, "I realized Keith wasn't here to perform for me. He was here to know me." Still, the night was long. There were plenty of other men who dazzled and entertained, from choreographed dance routines to full-on serenades under the stars. Joan was charmed, of course. But when the cameras weren't rolling, when the glitter faded and the nerves kicked in, her mind kept drifting back to Keith. "I watched him throughout the night," Joan admitted, laughing softly. "He wasn't pushing his way into conversations or fighting for airtime. He was patient, calm. He respected everyone's space, including mine. And whenever our eyes met across the room, It felt like a little secret just between the two of us. The clincher, though, came just before the rose ceremony. Joan found herself outside, stealing a few quiet breaths under the stars. It was Keith who found her there, unprompted, uncoached, and utterly unscripted. He didn't say anything at first, Joan recalled. He just stood next to me, looking up at the sky. And then he said, "You know, it's okay to be nervous. It just means it's real." Tears welled up in Joan's eyes as she remembered that moment. No one else had thought to check on me. They were all so caught up in impressing me, they forgot I might be scared too. But Keith didn't. That was the moment Joan decided. The very first rose, the one that would set the tone for her entire journey, had to go to Keith. And when the time came, with cameras flashing and hearts pounding, she called his name without a second thought. The way Keith's face broke into a boyish grin as he walked toward her made the entire night worth it. But Joan's revelation didn't stop there. She explained that giving Keith the first rose wasn't just about honoring their early connection. It was about sending a message to everyone else, and maybe even to herself. "I wanted the men to know. I'm not here for a show," Joan said firmly. "I'm here for something real. I'm not impressed by flash. I'm impressed by heart." Keith's reaction, predictably, only cemented Joan's instincts. Instead of bragging or showboating after receiving the rose, he simply took her hand in his, squeezed it gently, and whispered, "Thank you for seeing me." Now, weeks into the season, Joan admits that giving Keith the first rose might have been one of her best decisions yet. "He's exactly who I thought he was," she beamed. "Kind, grounded, steady. Every day, he shows me more of his heart. And every day, I'm a little more grateful that I trusted my gut." Of course, the Golden Bachelorette journey is never smooth. Teasers have already promised upcoming turbulence, surprise visitors, emotional bombshells, and a few unexpected heartbreaks. But Joan is staying grounded in the truth she found that first night. A truth that started with a daisy, a starlit conversation, and a man who wasn't afraid to stand quietly beside her when she needed it most. When asked if Keith could be the one, Joan played coy, but her eyes twinkled with a secret kind of knowing. "Let's just say," she laughed, "sometimes the first rose tells you everything you need to know." As for Keith, he remains a strong frontrunner, not just in the viewer's eyes, but clearly in Joan's heart. Week after week, their connection has only deepened, marked by stolen glances, quiet moments, and whispered promises that maybe, just maybe, love the second time around can be even sweeter than the first. "I'm not looking for someone to rescue me," Joan said. "I'm looking for someone to walk with me. And from the very beginning, Keith has never tried to outshine me. He just wants to be beside me." And that, according to Joan Vassos, is why Keith got the first rose, and why he might just be the one to get the final one too. Stay tuned, Golden Nation. Joan's golden love story might just be unfolding before our eyes.